In the peaceful village of Mbali, the sun rose over the hills, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Children laughed as they played near the river, while the elders shared stories under the shade of the old Baobab tree. This tree was special, or it was said to grant wishes to anyone who dared to sit beneath its massive branches during a full moon. However, the villagers whispered warnings about a curse that came with every wish. Zola was a kind-hearted girl who lived with her mother, Amina. Amina had fallen ill, and Zola watched helplessly as her mother grew weaker each day. The village healer could not help, and Zola felt despair creeping into her heart. She thought about the Baobab tree and the wishes it granted. Could she be brave enough to sit under it? Her heart raced as she considered the tales of the tree, but the thought of losing her mother pushed her forward. Zola remembered the times she spent with her mother, playing in the fields and picking wildflowers. Amina always had a smile that brightened Zola's day, but now that smile was fading. Zola felt a heavy weight on her heart, like a rock pulling her down. I must do something, she thought. The stories of the Baobab tree echoed in her mind. As night fell, Zola made her decision. She would visit the tree. Maybe, just maybe, she could save her mother. She prepared herself, tying her hair back and wearing her favorite blue dress. With a deep breath, she set out under the stars, her heart racing with hope and fear. The village seemed to sleep as she walked quietly, the only sound being the rustling leaves and her soft footsteps. When Zola reached the Baobab tree, the full moon cast a silver glow over the giant trunk. The tree stood tall, its thick branches reaching out like welcoming arms. Zola felt both scared and excited. She looked around to make sure no one was watching. The stories warned that the tree only granted wishes if you were alone, under the moonlight. Zola took a deep breath and sat down on the cool grass beneath the tree. She closed her eyes, imagining her mother healthy and smiling. I wish for my mother to be healed, she whispered into the night. As soon as the words left her lips, the wind picked up, swirling around her like a dance. The leaves rustled, and Zola felt a strange warmth envelop her. Was the tree responding to her wish? The next morning, Zola woke up with hope in her heart. She rushed to her mother's side, and to her surprise, Amina looked better. Zola, I feel stronger today, Amina said with a weak smile. Zola felt a rush of joy. The wish was working. They spent the day together, laughing and talking about the things they would do when Amina was fully well. Zola felt like a weight had lifted from her shoulders. But as the sun set, a strange feeling began to creep back into Zola's heart. The village felt different. People seemed distant, and the air was heavy with an unsettling silence. Zola noticed her neighbors casting worried glances at each other, their voices low and hushed. Something was off, but Zola brushed it aside, thinking only of her mother. As days passed, Amina's health continued to improve, but strange things began to happen in Mbali. Crops started to wither in the fields, and the river's water began to dry up. The village elders met, their faces lined with worry. This is not normal, one elder said, shaking his head. The Baobab tree's curse has returned. Zola overheard the elders talking, then her heart sank. Was her wish causing these problems? Zola wanted to know more. She approached an elder named Baba Juma, known for his wisdom. Baba Juma, what do you know about the Baobab tree? She asked, her voice trembling. Baba Juma looked at her with kind eyes, but his expression turned serious. The tree is powerful, but it does not give without taking something in return, he warned. What did you wish for, Zola? Zola's mind raced as she considered her wish. She had only wanted to save her mother, but now she felt a heavy burden of guilt. It's my fault, she whispered to herself. The happiness she felt for her mother's recovery was overshadowed by the troubles in the village. Zola realized she needed to find a way to break the curse before it was too late. That night, Zola returned to the Baobab tree, hoping for answers. She sat beneath its branches once more, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. "Please," she pleaded to the tree, "I did not mean for anyone to suffer. How can I fix this?" The wind howled around her, and the leaves rustled ominously, as if the tree was responding to her despair. As Zola sat there, lost in thought, she felt a sudden chill in the air. A soft voice whispered through the leaves, "Find the lost heart." Zola jumped up, looking around in confusion. What did that mean? She had no idea what a lost heart was or where to find it. Determined to uncover the truth, Zola decided to ask Baba Juma for help. The next morning, she hurried to his home. "Baba Juma, I heard a voice from the Baobab Tree," she explained, her eyes wide with excitement and fear. "It told me to find the lost heart." Baba Juma's face grew serious. "The lost heart is a powerful object that has been hidden for many years. It is said to hold the key to breaking the curse," he said slowly. Baba Juma explained that the lost heart was once part of a great warrior's shield, buried deep in the forest outside of Mbali. Many villagers had tried to find it, but no one returned. "The forest is dangerous," he warned. "You must be careful." Zola felt a mix of fear and determination. She had to find the heart to save her village and her mother. That evening, Zola gathered supplies, a small bag of food, a torch, and her mother's gold necklace for luck. As she prepared to leave, Amina noticed Zola's anxiousness. "Where are you going, my child?" Amina asked, concerned. Zola hesitated but decided to tell her mother the truth. "I'm going to find the lost heart to break the curse," she said. Amina's eyes widened. "Be careful, Zola. The forest is filled with shadows," she warned, her voice shaky. As Zola stepped into the forest, the trees loomed high above her, blocking the sunlight. The air was cool and damp, and strange noises echoed around her. Zola felt a shiver run down her spine but pushed on. "I have to do this for my mother," she whispered to herself, trying to muster courage. The deeper she walked, the darker it became. Zola used her torch to light the way, its flickering flame casting eerie shadows. Suddenly, she heard rustling in the bushes nearby. Her heart raced as she turned, holding her breath. Out of the shadows stepped a small, curious monkey, its eyes sparkling with mischief. Zola let out a sigh of relief. "You scared me," she laughed, feeling a little lighter. The monkey seemed to understand her and jumped up to a branch, gesturing for her to follow. Zola decided to follow the monkey, hoping it might lead her to the lost heart. The monkey leaped from branch to branch, and Zola hurried after it, trying not to lose sight. They traveled deeper into the forest, where the trees were thick, and the air was filled with the sweet smell of wildflowers. As they walked, Zola felt more at ease. The monkey stopped near a sparkling stream and turned back to her, tilting its head as if asking her to drink. Zola knelt down, cupping her hands in the cool water. "Thank you, little friend," she said with a smile. Just then, the monkey pointed towards a path lined with colorful flowers. Could that be the way? Zola wondered, her excitement growing. Following the monkey down the flower-lined path, Zola felt a sense of hope. The flowers were vibrant and alive, unlike the desolate fields back in Mbali. As they moved along, she could hear the gentle sound of flowing water nearby. Maybe the heart is close, she thought, her heart racing with anticipation. Suddenly, the monkey stopped and waved its little arms, signaling her to be quiet. Zola crouched down, her curiosity piqued. Ahead, she saw a clearing filled with soft sunlight and colorful butterflies fluttering around. In the center of the clearing stood a large rock with strange markings. Zola felt a pull towards it, sensing that something important lay beneath. Zola approached the rock, her heart beating faster with every step. The markings on the surface glowed faintly, as if whispering secrets of the past. This must be where the lost heart is hidden, she thought. As she examined the rock, Zola noticed a small crevice at its base. With a gentle push, she discovered a hidden latch. Gathering her courage, Zola opened the latch, and the rock slowly shifted to reveal a small chest beneath. She gasped in awe as she pulled it out. The chest was covered in dust, but the moment she opened it, the bright light burst forth. Inside lay a beautiful red gemstone, shaped like a heart. Zola's breath caught in her throat. "This must be the lost heart," she exclaimed, holding it up to the light. The gemstone shimmered with a warm glow, filling Zola with hope and energy. Just as Zola was about to leave the clearing, a loud growl echoed through the forest, sending shivers down her spine. She turned to see a large shadowy figure emerging from the trees. It was a fierce-looking lion, its eyes fixed on her with a hungry gaze. Zola's heart raced. She knew she had to act fast. With quick thinking, Zola remembered her mother's necklace. She held it up, letting the light from the gemstone reflect off its surface. "I will not harm you," she said, her voice steady despite the fear in her heart. "I seek to break a curse." The lion paused, its growl softening as it tilted its head, intrigued by Zola's courage. Slowly, it stepped back, allowing her a way out. Relieved, Zola carefully made her way back through the forest, the heart securely tucked in her bag. The monkey followed her, chattering happily as they walked. Zola felt a wave of gratitude for the little creature that had guided her. "You were so brave," she said, laughing. "We did it together." As they emerged from the forest, Zola felt a new sense of purpose. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead to save her village and her mother. But as she approached Mbali, a strange silence fell over the village. The air felt thick with tension, and Zola's heart sank. When Zola reached the village, she found it unusually quiet. People moved about, but their faces were pale, and whispers filled the air. Zola ran to find Baba Juma. "What's happening?" she asked, her voice trembling. Baba Juma looked at her gravely. "The curse has deepened," he said softly. "We are losing our strength and spirit." Zola felt a knot tighten in her stomach. "But I found the lost heart," she exclaimed, pulling the gemstone from her bag. Baba Juma's eyes widened, but then he shook his head. "The heart alone cannot break the curse. You must also unite the village to heal the wounds of the past," he explained. "You must bring the villagers together before it's too late." Determined, Zola decided to gather the villagers in the square. She stood in front of the old Baobab tree, its branches swaying gently in the breeze. "Everyone, please listen," she called out, her voice ringing through the air. "I have found the lost heart, but we must come together to break the curse." Some villagers looked skeptical, while others exchanged worried glances. "How can we trust you, Zola?" one man shouted. "What if the curse grows worse?" Zola felt a wave of doubt wash over her, but she took a deep breath. "I understand your fears. I was afraid too, but we have to unite and face this challenge together," she pleaded. Slowly, villagers began to step forward. One by one, they shared their own fears and struggles since the curse began. Zola listened, her heart swelling with compassion. "We can't let fear divide us," she urged. "Together, we are stronger." As she spoke, she noticed the villagers' expressions changing, hope flickering in their eyes. Finally, an elder stepped forward. "Zola is right. We must join together to face this curse," he said, raising his voice. "Let's put aside our differences and unite as one." A wave of agreement rippled through the crowd, and Zola felt a surge of hope. The villagers joined hands around the Baobab tree, forming a circle of strength. With the villagers united, Zola led them in a ritual to heal the village and break the curse. They sang songs of love and remembrance, their voices rising high into the night sky. Zola held the heart close to her, feeling its warm glow pulsing in rhythm with their chants. As they sang, the air grew lighter, and a gentle wind swept through the square, rustling the leaves of the baobab tree. The ground beneath them began to shimmer, then Zola felt a deep connection to her ancestors and the land they cherished. "Together, we can do this," she shouted, her heart full of determination. But as the villagers continued their chants, a dark cloud began to form overhead. Zola's heart sank. "What's happening?" she cried out. The wind picked up, and the shadows around them grew darker. Baba Juma rushed to her side. "The curse is fighting back," he warned. "We must not lose faith." Zola looked around at her friends and family, their faces filled with fear but also determination. "We can't let it win," she shouted, her voice ringing with strength. The villagers held on tightly to each other, their voices rising louder. The heart in Zola's hands pulsed with light, pushing back against the darkness. Suddenly, a thunderous roar echoed through the night as a shadowy figure emerged from the dark cloud. It was the spirit of the baobab tree, twisted and angry. "You dare to challenge me," it boomed, its voice shaking the ground beneath them. Zola felt a chill run down her spine. With courage, Zola stepped forward, holding the heart high. "We are not afraid," she declared. "We come together as one to break your curse and heal our village." The spirit sneered, but Zola's words resonated in the hearts of the villagers. They continued to sing, their voices intertwining with Zola's, creating a powerful melody that filled the air. As the song grew stronger, the heart in Zola's hands began to glow brighter, illuminating the entire square. The shadows around them shrunk back, then Zola felt an immense energy flowing through her. The spirit snarled, but Zola stood her ground. "You have taken enough from us," she shouted, her voice filled with fierce determination. The villagers joined her, their voices rising in a powerful chorus. The heart pulsed with light, and the spirit of the baobab tree seemed to falter. "No," it roared, but Zola and the villagers pushed back against the darkness. They felt their ancestors with them, their strength igniting a fire within their hearts. With one final surge of energy, the heart exploded in a brilliant light, enveloping the village. The dark clouds dissipated, and the first rays of dawn broke through the night. Zola closed her eyes, feeling warmth and love surround her. When she opened them again, she saw the villagers standing together, their faces illuminated by hope. The spirit of the baobab tree had vanished, leaving behind a soft breeze that rustled the leaves. Zola looked around at her friends and family, with tears of joy filling her eyes. "We did it," she cried, embracing her mother, who stood beside her, healthy and smiling. "Together, we broke the curse." As the sun rose over Mbali, the village slowly came back to life. Crops began to bloom again, and the river flowed with fresh water. Zola felt a wave of relief wash over her. "We can rebuild," she said, looking around at the villagers. "We can create a new beginning." Everyone worked together to restore the village, planting seeds and cleaning the river banks. Laughter and joy filled the air as children played and families came together. Zola felt grateful for the strength of her community and the love they shared. The baobab tree stood tall, a reminder of their journey and the power of unity. One evening, Zola gathered the villagers under the baobab tree. "This tree has taught us an important lesson," she said, her voice steady. "We must always respect the power of wishes and understand that our actions can affect others." The villagers nodded, reflecting on their experiences. Baba Juma added, "We must never forget the strength we found in each other. Together, we are unstoppable." The villagers cheered, feeling a renewed sense of hope and purpose. They celebrated their victory, dancing and singing under the stars, grateful for the new life that blossomed in their village. As time passed, the village of Mbali thrived, becoming a beacon of hope for neighboring communities. Zola took on the role of a leader, guiding others with compassion and wisdom. She often visited the baobab tree, sharing stories with the villagers and reminding them of their strength. One day, a group of children approached her. "Tell us the story of the heart and the baobab tree," they begged. Zola smiled, remembering the journey that had changed their lives forever. "Once upon a time, we faced a great curse," she began, her heart swelling with pride. "But together, we broke it." As Zola shared the story, the children listened with wide eyes, their imaginations ignited. "And the heart is still with us," she continued. "It lives in our unity, in our love for one another. Remember, we are stronger together." The children cheered, inspired by the tale of courage and community. Zola looked up at the baobab tree, its branches stretching towards the sky. She felt a deep sense of gratitude for the lessons learned and the bond shared within the village. They had transformed their curse into a blessing, and the heart of Mbali would continue to beat strong as long as they remained united. Years later, as Zola stood beneath the baobab tree, she felt a sense of peace wash over her. The village had flourished, and the people were filled with hope and strength. "No matter what challenges we face, we will always remember the power of love and unity," she said, a smile lighting up her face. With the heart of Mbali beating strong, Zola looked toward the horizon, ready to embrace whatever the future held. The village had been reborn, and she knew their story would continue for generations to come. And so, the story of Zola and the baobab tree became a legend in Mbali. Children would gather to hear the tale of the curse and the heart, learning the importance of community and resilience. Zola's journey inspired many, and the spirit of the baobab tree lived on in the hearts of the villagers, a constant reminder of their strength, courage, and the love that united them.